Quizmaster, I'll count down. Just watch my hand. See, we'll do it without words.
Welcome to School Reach. I'm John, your Quizmaster for this game between Lisgar and Ridgemont. Now I'd like the players to introduce themselves, starting with Lisgar. And now from Ridgemont.
Jim Kerrigan.
Thank you. We'll play 3 rounds of questions with a minute break between each round. Now the scorekeeper is ready. Let's begin round 1 of School Reach. 40-point snap start to round 1. Free trade negotiator Simon Ridgemont has been hired as an advisor on international trade by which province? Ian.
Ontario.
Incorrect. Ridgemont. Incorrect. Saskatchewan. What is the longest river in Canada? Diane. Correct. What is the day and year of Confederation? Ian.
July 1st, 1867.
Correct. What is the name given to the Southern Lights? Ian.
Aurora Australis.
That's correct. 30-point open question on zoology. The aardvark is native to what continent? Beth.
Asia?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick.
Australia.
Incorrect. Africa. What is the largest and most diverse phylum in the animal kingdom? Ian. Incorrect. Ridgemont? Jim.
Protista.
No. Anthropoda. What is the distinguishing feature of flies and other dipterans? Ian. No. Ridgemont? Too late. They all have 2 wings instead of 4. 30-point open question. U.S. political figures. Name the man who served as Chicago's first black mayor. Ian. Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick.
Smith.
No. Harold Washington is the right answer. Marion Barry chose not to seek re-election in 1990 in the face of drug and perjury charges. He was the longtime mayor of what's Ian?
Washington, D.C.
Correct. Who was the American president who reached a limited free trade agreement with Wilfrid Laurier in 1911? Ian?
Wilson.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick?
Roosevelt.
No. William Howard Taft. 40-point team question. It's a 2-part team question. Whichever team is first to answer correctly the 5-point scramble question in part 1 is then eligible for the remaining 10-point questions in part 2. Part 1, scramble for 5 points. Name the Atlantic Premier who opposed the Meech Lake. Ian.
Clyde Wells.
Correct. The remaining questions deal with Clyde Wells and are only open to Lisgar. First question. Which Premier of Newfoundland made Clyde Wells a member of his cabinet in the mid-60s? Incorrect. Joey Smallwood. Before entering politics, what was Wells' profession?
Lawyer.
Correct. Aren't they all? What hydro development causing a dispute between Quebec and Newfoundland did Wells take on as a constitutional lawyer? No, Churchill Falls. 40-point open question. Police and the law. What is the name of Canada's only unarmed police force? Too long. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. With what organization did the Mounted Police amalgamate in 1920 to form the RCMP? Yes.
The Northwest Armed Police.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? No answer. The Dominion Police. What is the name of Quebec's provincial police? Cherouse. Incorrect. Lisgar? Yes. Yes, that's correct. A group of American raiders organized within the Hunters Brotherhood were tried at Kingston in 1838 for the crime of invading Canada. 8 men were hanged. Who was the defense lawyer? Ian.
John F.
20-point open question on quotations. Identify the author or the source of these quotations. Quote, "You know my methods, Watson." Ian. Correct. Quote, "There is plenty of time to win this game and to thrash the Spaniards too." Nick. Incorrect. Lisgar? Ian. No, Francis Drake is the right answer. Hands off the buzzers, we have an 80-point assigned question on geography. Here's an assigned question on geography in which each member of each team is assigned a 10-point question. If you miss your question, then your counterpart on the opposing team will have a chance at it for 5 points. Introduction on which body of water do the following towns or cities stand? Starting with Ian Brody from Lisgar. Valletta. Incorrect. Nick for 5. No, the Mediterranean Sea. Beth. Berlin. No answer. Shrews. No, the River Spree. Yancey. Yellowknife. Correct. And finally, Jotham. Lions.
Lyon.
No. That's incorrect. Diane? No. The River Rhone. Now let's reverse roles and begin with Ridgemont. And Nick. Belgrade, Yugoslavia. Incorrect. Ian? Correct. Next for Shrews. Berkeley, California. Correct. Next for Jim, Khartoum. Nile. Yes, I think we can accept that.
Yeah.
The Blue Nile is the right answer. And finally for Diane, Lausanne, Switzerland. No, Geoffrey? That's correct. Let's speed this up with some open questions in world politics. What is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere? Ian. Correct. What was the first overseas possession of Great Britain? Too long, Newfoundland. Name the African country called Rhodesia until... Shrews. Incorrect. Rhodesia until... Ian. Correct. 40-point snap break to end the round. What is the capital of Brazil? Ian. Correct. In what year was the Berlin Wall built? Ian.
1962.
Incorrect. Ridgemont. Shrews.
1963.
Incorrect. 1961. What liqueur is distilled from wormwood? Ian. Incorrect. Ridgemont. Jim.
Cognac.
No. Absinthe is what it says here. With what art movement was Jackson Pollock associated? Ian.
Abstract?
More please.
You're right, but no.
No. Ridgemont? Nick. Incorrect. Abstract expressionism. And that ends round 1 with a score of 125 for Lisgar and 30 for Ridgemont.
Okay, ready, both teams? Here we go.
Okay. Let's start round 2 with a 40-point snap start. Who was the first Islamic caliph? Ian.
Muhammad?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Shrews. No. Abu Bakr. What is the chemical formula of acetylene?
Acetylene.
Acetylene. Yancey.
CHCO.
No.
Incorrect. Ridgemont. Jim.
C2H2.
Correct. On what island was Napoleon Bonaparte born? Ian.
Corsica.
Correct. What city did Antoine Cadillac found? Ian.
Detroit.
Correct. This is fun. What month am I? Question. This question is worth 40 points if you guess the answer on the first clue and 10 points less with each succeeding clue until either team answers the question correctly. Clue A for 40 points. On the 1st of this month, the Swiss celebrate. Incorrect. The rest of the question goes to Ridgemont. The Swiss celebrate their independence, and in 1346, the Battle of Crécy began in this month. What month am I? Incorrect. Clue B for 30 points. It is on the 14th of this month that, in 1040, King Duncan I of Scotland is thought to have been killed in war. What month am I? Ian. Incorrect. Ridgemont? Shrews. Incorrect. Narrowing down the field. Clue C for 20 points. 2 important events occurring during this month were the famous Quebec War Conference and, on the 24th, the St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre in 1572. What month am I? Beth.
December?
Incorrect. Ridgemont. Shrews.
September.
No. Is that leave 6? Clue D. During this month, large exhibitions open in Ottawa and Toronto. This month is also named Diane. Correct. Yes, 10 points. 30-point open question on rock groups. What 60s Canadian rock band? Correct. Ooh. What group did Randy Bachman form? Correct. Which of these singles were the Guess Who's first big hit? No Time, Shaken All Over, and American Woman. Ian.
American Woman.
Incorrect. Ridgemont. Nick? Correct. 30-point open question on math. Give the answers to these long division questions, rounded to 2 decimal places.
It's a terrible.
And I'll give you plenty of time for this. Be sure about that. 5,469 divided by 25.13. Any guesses? Nick? Incorrect. Lisgar? No answer? The answer, although I'm not sure if it matters, is 217.63. Remember, I want this rounded to 2 decimal places. Second question. 71.236 divided by 1.452. Beth?
49.06.
Correct. Well done. And the last question. 76,824 divided by 96. Shrews.
760.25.
That's incorrect. Lisgar? Beth?
797.15.
No, but you're close. It's 800.25. 40-point open question on psychology. What French psychologist pioneered the development of tests of intelligence? Incorrect. Ridgemont? No answer. Alfred Binet. What psychologist founded psychoanalysis? Jim?
Freud.
Correct. What is a word which means, quote, a mental and emotional disorder affecting only part of the personality with a less distorted Jim?
Schizophrenia.
Incorrect. The rest of the quote goes, with a less distorted perception of reality than a psychosis. Lisgar? Ian? No. Neurosis. What is the word which means, quote, chronic mental unsoundness characterized by delusions? Jim?
Schizophrenia.
Incorrect. Lisgar, by delusions and hallucinations. Ian?
Possessed by devils.
Paranoia. 40-point open question on Gary Cooper. Cooper starred in a 1933 version of the novel A Farewell to Arms. Who wrote? Ian? Correct. Cooper also starred in an adaptation of which other Hemingway novel? Nick? Incorrect. Lisgar? Jyoti? No. For Whom the Bell Tolls. Cooper won his first Oscar for his role in Sergeant York, a 1941 film about a U.S. soldier in which war? Ian? Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick? Correct. And the last one, Cooper is perhaps best remembered for his portrayal of Marshall Will. Jim?
Hyman.
Correct. 40-point open question on physics. How many hectograms are in 1 megagram? Ian?
100,000.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Jim?
100.
Incorrect. 10,000 is the right answer. What is the international measurement unit for magnetic flux? Nick? Incorrect. Lisgar? No answer. The Weber. Who won the Nobel Prize for the invention of the cyclotron in 1939? Ian?
Linus Pauling.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick?
Einstein.
No. Ernest Lawrence is the right answer. The 4 lines in the visible region of the hydrogen spectrum are known as what? John? Incorrect. Shrews? No. Balmer lines. 30-point open question. The 7 Years' War. What European land power was Britain's ally in the war? Shrews?
France.
Incorrect. Lisgar? Ian? No, the answer is Prussia. What empress's death prompted Russia's withdrawal from war at a turning point? Ian?
Catherine.
Incorrect. At a turning point in Prussia's favor. Ridgemont? No. No. Elizabeth of Russia. What treaty ended the war? Ian?
Versailles.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick?
Paris.
Correct. 40-point snap rate to end round 2. What country did Haile Selassie rule? That's correct. Who wrote Siddhartha and Steppenwolf? Ian?
Joe.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick?
Closet.
No. Herman Hesse. Who created the lawyer Perry Mason? Ian?
Girl Standing There.
Correct. What band of Indians did Geronimo lead? Jim?
Apaches.
That's correct. And that ends round 2 with a score of 185 for Lisgar and 130 for Ridgemont.
Could you try out your microphones microphones, please. I'm not sure if Ian doesn't seem to work. I mean, as long as the quizmaster can hear you and I can hear you, that's the important thing. But Jim, do you want to try your microphone? I think, yeah, it worked. Nick? Oh, how come it's, maybe aim it towards your mouth, Nick. Maybe it's, yeah. Nick, speak into it. No. Okay. Our AV technician is in the AV room. If somebody can go, it's just down the hallway past the, yeah, it's to your left, just before you reach the main office. Okay. So we'll try to get the microphones working, but just realize that it's mainly to get you used to speaking into the microphone if you're in the televised series. I can hear you, and the quizmaster can hear you. That's the important thing. And you can hear him, right? Lisgar, you can hear him, no problem. Okay. Yancy, try out your microphone, please. Yeah, no, speak into it. Yeah, see, in the auditorium we can hear you really without the mics, but it's better if they work.
Relaxed and ready? Let's start round 3 of score each here. 40-point snap start. What Russian composed the ballet The Rite of Spring? Ian.
Greer?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Jim.
Stravinsky?
That's right. What is the most sacred
10
Hindu
points.
river? Ian. Ganges.
Yeah, Ian was right. What did you say, Ian? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
I said, oh, what was it?
Yeah. I understand.
Who wrote the historical novel Shrews?
Oh, you didn't press? Okay, we had the same deal with Dino last time, so I guess it's okay. Just keep going.
Who wrote the historical novel I, Claudius? No answer. Robert Graves. Name the city which lies on the Scheldt River and is Belgium's main port. Ian.
Copenhagen?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Jim. Or Nick, sorry.
Antwerp?
That's correct. 40-point team question. In this 2-part team question, whichever team is first to answer correctly the 5-point scramble question in part 1 is then eligible for the remaining 10-point questions in part 2. Part 1, scramble for 10 points. What Asian country is the 5th most populous state in the world? Nick.
Bangladesh?
Incorrect. Lisgar? Yancy?
Japan.
No, Indonesia is the correct answer. I will now open up the remaining 3 questions to both teams. And the remaining questions do deal with Indonesia. On what island does the Indonesian capital Beth?
Java?
That's correct. Indonesia is a former colony of what? Beth?
Colin?
Yeah.
That's correct. And I would still caution people not to give answers out that are audible to the contestants here. Who became president of the newly independent nation of Indonesia? Beth?
Suharto?
That's incorrect. Ridgemont? Jim?
Hartley?
No, Sukarno is the correct answer. 40-point open question on banned books. Identify the following books, all of which were banned at one time in the United States. First question. Which George Orwell classic? Ian?
1984?
Correct. Which Margaret Mitchell novel was banned at one? Ian?
Gone with the Wind?
Correct. This Mark Twain novel was? Ian?
Huckleberry Finn? Adventures of
That's
Darwin.
correct. Which Harper Lee novel was banned? Ian?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Correct. Well done. 40-point open question on Cornelius Krieghoff. This painter emigrated to Canada in 1840, coming originally from what European country? Yancy?
Czechoslovakia.
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick?
West Germany?
No, the Netherlands is the right answer. In what province did Krieghoff spend most of his time in Canada? Beth?
British Columbia?
That's not right. Ridgemont? Nick?
Saskatchewan?
No, Quebec. What group of Canadians appear in most of Krieghoff's paintings? Ian?
Members of Legislative Assembly?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick?
Habitat?
That's correct. After producing over 2,000 paintings, Krigoff eventually died in what American city? Ian?
Boston?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Jim?
Chicago?
Correct. 30-point open question on baseball. The Great Bambino and Ian?
Babe Ruth?
Incorrect. The rest of the question goes to Ridgemont. And the Sultan of Swat were two of the more colorful nicknames given to the baseball great George Herman Babe Ruth. Ruth achieved his fame playing for the New York Yankees, but with what team did he start his major league career? Ridgemont? Jim?
Milwaukee?
Incorrect. The Boston Red Sox. Open again. How many home runs did he hit in his career? Jim?
564?
Incorrect. Lisgar? Ian?
724?
Close. 714. What uniform number did the Babe wear while playing for the Yankees? Jim?
8?
Incorrect. Lisgar? Ian?
16?
No, 3 is the right answer. Finally, a 100-point snap out to end the game. What was the famous occupation of Jose Orozco? O-R-O-Z-C-O.
What was it?
Nick?
Terrorism?
Incorrect. Yancy?
Gold player.
No, he was a painter. In physics, what do you call a force causing rotation or torsion? Beth?
Centrifugal?
Incorrect. Ridgemont? Nick? No. Torque. Who's the official head of a provincial government in Canada? Charus?
The Queen?
Incorrect. Lisgar? Ian?
Premier?
No. The lieutenant governor. What was the imaginary wall considered a dividing line separating territory controlled by the Chinese communists from the non-communist world? No answer. The bamboo curtain. What is the official Soviet planning agency in charge of programs for economic and industrial development? Ian?
Politburo?
No. Ridgemont? No answer. The Gosplan. Who wrote David Copperfield? Ian?
Dickens?
Correct. What is the name assigned to the low temperature of -273 Yancy?
Absolute zero.
Correct. Besides English, what is the official language of South Africa? Ian?
Afrikaans?
Correct. What country's parliament is called the Knesset?
Iran?
Correct. What is the name of the former U.S. penitentiary located on an island in Ian?
Alcatraz?
Correct. And that's the end of the game. The score 305 points for Lisgar and 170 points for Ridgemont.
Okay, good game. Thanks. The next game will be, thanks. You can come down now.